What's up, gents? Today I'm going to be sort of preemptively responding to some stuff. I'm making a bunch of videos about manhood, about what it is to be a man, how to meet women, how to improve yourself, how to go out there and, grow and participate and add to your community. And hopefully that is not objectionable, but I don't necessarily anticipate that being the case. So today I'm going to be talking about if all of manhood is toxic. Obviously, I don't agree with that, but let's get into it. Before we get into that, I'll just do a brief little talk here. I haven't even had a single sip of coffee today. It's real hot. It's real hot, but it's good. But I thought I'd sit down here and make some videos for the week. So, going to be trying to put in more content as I'm doing this. So I'll probably put something that I'm like photoshopping over this, or I'll be building something or setting up my 3D printer. Last week I printed a sign that I haven't done yet because chronologically it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. So anyways, let's go through that. Gonna try and add some fun stuff while I talk to these videos. So is all of manhood toxic? Obviously not. At least according to my opinion, but let me defend that for a minute. There's sort of two sides to my argument of is all of manhood toxic? I guess part of it is kind of, and the other part of it is no. And then the last part of it, I know I said two parts, but it's three parts, obviously. And then the final part of it is, it doesn't matter. So let's start with, I'm going to start writing this down. Sort of, no, and it doesn't matter. I like to ramble on this channel. So maybe if I actually write down some bullet points, I'll stay organized. So sort of. Some of the best systems in the world with dealing with manhood are two particular systems, which are chivalry and Bushido, which are very, very similar codes of honor and the obligation of a warrior class to do good thing for community. It's a code of honor, the things you have to do in order to be worthy to wield this armor, these swords, things like that. This inherently solved a problem that was before these codes. You had these warriors just going around town beating up on people and imposing their will because they could. And this is sort of the nature of power is, yeah, you need warriors in any society to defend against other warriors that would be bullies. Unfortunately, without a code of honor, your warriors become bullies. They may be less of a bully than the bullies you wanted the warriors to defend against in the first place, but they can still become bullies. And so the best thing you can do with any power is to restrain it, give it rules, and give it something to aspire to. So when you tell warriors, the only good warriors do these things, and if not, you're like the rest of the barbarian horde, or, uncivilized masses, or whatever you want to say, then you tie their self-worth as a warrior into them behaving properly. And that would be completely, if I didn't believe in any sort of objective morality, that would be a good system to impose because it wasn't, even if it wasn't real, it'd be a good system to impose because of the outcome, which is you have honorable soldiers. I do believe in objective morality. And so I think that for every person, balancing your honor and your strength and all these other forms of things, very Aristotelian, saying you have to balance your aggression and your compassion. You can't be either one totally, or you'll be a brute, or you'll just be taken advantage of and not accomplish anything in life. You have to meld all of your extremes to become a good person. And this applies to warriors as well. So I'm not just saying we invented a system to make warriors behave. I'm saying it's actively a better way to live objectively, not just a system that's useful. So the sort of part is that either God or thousands of years or tens of thousands of generations of evolution have made men into the warriors. of this species, right? Like with hyenas, that's not true, but we're very, very far removed from hyenas. So fundamentally, we're dosed with testosterone so that we'll go and brave the bad parts of nature to tame it into submission, to either build a city or farm or kill the wolves out there, or to fight off the other warring tribes. That's what we've been dosed with. We've been given taller bodies, more fast twitch muscles, more testosterone. And that's not inherently bad. That sort of touches on the no part, but the sort of part of that is you're riding a dragon, and I'll use that term tomorrow for a different reason, is like you have this testosterone. It is a volatile chemical inside of you, and it turns you into this big, powerful thing. With power comes the ability to be either really good or really bad. And there's generally not an in-between. So men on average are going to either be a sheepdog or a wolf, and they're probably not going to be the other ones. If they never exercise their masculinity, maybe they're something like a juvenile dog or something like that. They're maybe less dangerous, but it doesn't mean that those instincts aren't there and that they couldn't be good or bad. Their damage potential is just less. But for many men, and I dare say the most men, you're going to fall into one of these camps, either predator or protector. You're either going to be the roaming barbarian horde or the warrior with a strict code of honor and ethics. So when I say, is all of manhood toxic? I mean, all of it's dangerous. All of it's powerful. And you're saying, is it toxic? Toxic is not the same thing as powerful. So sort of is what I'm getting at there. Is it all potentially dangerous and all of that? Yeah, it's by design that way. And unfortunately, you've been given this chemical that you need to learn to control. Plato has this allegory, the allegory of the chariot. And basically, it's actually very similar to the id, superego, and ego that Sigmund Freud suggests. But it suggests that there's a charioteer. This is your ego that balances your superego and your id. You have your white horse and your dark horse. And the white horse is your aspirations, the good things you want to live up to. And let's say your ambition. It's your ambition. The white horse is ambition, and the dark horse is your passion. Let's say the actual term is Thumos. And Thumos is sometimes used to describe like life, being alive. When people are killed in the Iliad, they bleed and the Thumos leaves their body. So yes, but when you play an instrument, it's also delighting your Thumos. When you're in battle, you are full of Thumos. So it's this sort of life and energy concept. And this dark horse, if the charioteer is not strong enough, the dark horse will convince your ambition, the white horse, to run wild, and the chariot will be completely uncontrolled. But if the charioteer is strong enough, your higher will, the ethics and code of honor you live up to, if that is strong enough in you for you to pursue that, then you tame the dark horse and it falls in line. And the charioteer and the white horse, the higher reason and the ambition, work together to force this passionate horse into line and do good things. That is what masculinity fundamentally is you have this Thumos, this wild, potentially unbridled horse, and you have to force it into submission. So is that toxic? No. Is it dangerous, unpredictable? Is it chaotic and less tamed? Yes. So sort of, but no, it's not toxic. It can be, if not controlled, certainly. And it's very easy to be a weak and undisciplined charioteer. And so I've talked about it on the channel before. That's why I'm making this channel, is you either have people who are saying, delight that Thumos is running free. Delight that you are embracing the chaos and don't force it in line to achieve something greater that pursues a higher purpose. Don't do that. Just give in to your natural ambitions. Or it's like the charioteer removes themselves and says, I just give up. I'm not going to embrace any role. And I'm going to do what it's either like making you happy in a lazy sense or pursuing the darkest and most unbridled version of masculinity. And I've talked about that a bunch before. I'm talking about like the whole alpha thing where you, where you wear $5,000 suits and day trade just to make enough money to go out and party and pop bottles and date 26 women at the same time. That's the unbridled form. And then there's the form that says like, no, I have, women aren't worth the risk. Really, no risk is worth the risk. I'm just going to like eat, drink, and be merry until I die. And I'm going to avoid any sort of responsibility or duty or contribution to another thing. I'm just going to selfishly look after me till the end of my days. And neither of those are stellar forms of masculinity. So can it be toxic? Yes. Is it easy for masculinity to be toxic? Yes. Is it inherently toxic? No. Is it inherently difficult to control? Yes. And so finally, what we're going to arrive on is, does it particularly matter if manhood is chaotic or toxic or any of those things? I kind of no. What does acknowledging the problem do? Acknowledging the problem that someone has a drug addiction is an important step of getting through your drug addiction. But that drug can be removed from the system. Generally, when we're talking about men, you can't remove testosterone from the system. Now, through scientific means, we could. Is that a good thing we want to do? No. Men were designed for this purpose in the first place. Whether it's nature, whether it's animals, and whether it's other human beings, you need a warrior class in society. You need people who are these big, powerful, ambitious warriors. And you also need them to control that. You need to bridle them with a system of ethics and of honor to live up to that not just controls them because it's good for everyone around them, but that's a good side effect. It's good for everyone around them. It's good for the society that the knights or the samurai believe that there are certain responsibilities they have if they're going to wield this power. It's good that happens, but it's also objectively good for themselves. It is good to live a virtuous life. You become happier. I can defend that briefly. If someone is, let's say, living free and they laugh a lot and their body is full of happiness chemicals, but it's, they're living on the streets with a drug addiction. They've lost a bunch of family members. They can't really participate in any meaningful way. You would not say that person is happy, right? And so what we're saying about these things is when we're saying virtue, it's a thing to aspire to grow to be, to influence the people around you. So if we're saying someone with none of those, someone with more or less no virtue, not no value, but no virtue, if they aren't happy, then someone with virtue is happy. And when you're happy and virtuous, you contribute to a better way of life for the whole, for yourself. And that means a system of ethics and honor to take your ambition and your passions, which are not wrong, and no one should make you feel bad for this, to tame those so that you can accomplish great things and really pull your chariot places. Your chariot could be broken down and doing nothing, or it could be flying forward if only you can manage to control both of your horses. So, I think I adequately answered those questions, but I think before I sign off, I think it'd be important to say why all these things are important. If you don't believe in or talk about or push forward this system of ethics and honor, if you don't say, here is what a positive version of masculinity is and what people should aspire to, in a way that's actually reasonable. Like if you tell people the positive version of masculinity is suppressing it, that is not going to fly with 50% of your population. let's say 40%. Not 50%. Some women aren't going to like it as well. Maybe more. Who knows? That's not going to fly. Because we have natural limitations and natural impulses. Suppression is generally not an option, either on a personal level or on a grander scale. So and if you don't talk about it as here's what positive masculinity looks like, even if you have to control it, if you don't have that vision, then the only versions of masculinity out there are going to be suppression and toxic. You have to have a middle vision of this that requires some control and responsibility along with the aggression. If you don't have that, then the people who would benefit most from being in this temperate state are going to default to this toxic area. You see it all over the internet. Men just going, F it, I guess I'm this way. And I don't care about anyone. And that's not a stellar place to force them. But the only way you give them out is if you energetically and passionately and thoroughly talk about this second option. And making the suppressed area is never going to work for these people, though it may work for these people. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. I like to ramble on screen, so hopefully I didn't do that too much. I'll get my second sip of coffee here. Less hot this time, pretty good. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, gents. Not sure what visuals I'm going to put with this, if I'm going to do visuals on this, but the visuals will be coming very soon to the channel. I'm trying to get ahead a little bit. I'm getting married in like a month, so I have other things to prepare for other than just trying to build out the channel, but I'm trying to still put out good content because I think what I'm doing here is hopefully reaching people. I know in my personal life, I've had a bunch of people reach out to me and I really appreciate it, saying like, I really like what you're really doing something, like it's connecting with me. And I've made a lot of things on the channel before that have gone a lot of different directions and people have been supportive of it, but I've never had people say like, I feel the direction you're going in. There's something good there. And that's really what I'm trying to go for. If you know someone who would benefit from that, from a positive vision of masculinity, from challenging themselves to grow physically, mentally, emotionally, from learning how to deal with women and how to dress better and how to pursue fun hobbies, things like that. We're going to do all that on the channel, and we're also going to do fun things while we're doing that. Like we're going to build stuff, we're going to play video games, all that sort of stuff. If that sounds great to you or you know someone, go ahead, share the channel, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time, gents. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.
Went to the store the other day. The woman in front of me couldn't pay. I didn't have much, but I dropped a couple bucks. I try to change the world, there's gotta be a way. I got big dreams, doing what I can. Gonna build something big and watch it stand up for the little guy. Give it another try. Try to change the world, gotta be a better man.